So instead of them activating their own account, I activate it. And then I use this plugin to activate them. I wrote that, if you want to look at my blog.
Who does unconfirmed work on WordPress stuff?
Hell yeah, it works on WordPress. It's a WordPress plugin. I mean,
I thought you said it was, there isn't one built.
It's not built into WordPress itself for I don't know what reason.
I see.
But I mean, I guess what I'm suggesting is that I should pass it along to WordPress as a patch. It should just come with WordPress. But in any case, that you have it. So I wrote about this. If you scroll down and look at building a baby photo site for WordPress, so you can actually read about how to do this. Now, I should say, this is probably a plugin that does it, but I'm the kind of guy who says, no, I'll do that myself. That sounds kind of fun. So, but I'm kind of a dork. So there's probably plugins that do it. This will also show you how to do some non-sucky registration and login. Yes?
While we're on the subject of photos, can you post photos?
We don't have anything built in because it's pretty, there's a lot of complications that are related to allowing user uploads. You have to do a lot of validation of file types. It's very, very tricky stuff. And so we don't do it in Buddypress itself. However, there is I'm being taped, but one of the very best, I coded it. Yeah, one of the very best coded plugins for WordPress is called BP Album. And it's being changed over to BP Media. But it is really a top-notch plugin, and it allows all sorts of file uploads. So pictures, videos, whatever other kinds of media there are, Braille, I don't know. So yeah, but this has all that kind of sophisticated security stuff built in. It also has all the stuff you've come to expect on media uploads in Facebook, picture tagging, notifications for all that kind of stuff. So it's got all sorts of great stuff built in. I definitely recommend.
And it's a plugin for Buddypress?
It's a WordPress plugin that is dependent on Buddypress.
Okay, and then I have one other question. Supposing you wanted to be able to put sponsors, is it easy to make media blocks or blocks where you can put where sponsors can be put on?
Well, that sounds like a theme question. It's as easy to do in Buddypress as it is in any WordPress theme. So the very simplest way is to have an HTML widget in your sidebar, and you just paste in a different link every week to a different thing. You can probably get rotating advertisement widgets. I don't know. I've never tried to do that. And if you want to hard code things into your template, you can do that too. So whatever you would do for WordPress, you would do for Buddypress. I don't know them off the top of my head, but it's essentially the same. Yeah, it's the very same system. Yes?
I had, when I built a WordPress site before, I had problems with the registration page, basically. It wasn't built in, or it was sort of
the registration page?
Yeah, for members to register for everything. Is there anything built in, or is it just...
Oh yeah, yeah. So what happens when, I'll show you on my dev installation. We have built in Boone.cool. That's the name of I'm such a humble guy, that's the name of my local development environment, Boone.cool. Anyway, so when you normally sign up for WordPress accounts, you're sent to WP login action equals register or something like that. But it's really ugly. Then you just kind of have a WordPress login screen. It's unstyled. We hijack that and we take it to a custom slug. By default, it's register. You can call it whatever you want. And by the way, a great spam suggestion, the #1 way to prevent spam is to change that. Change it to something other than the word register. That, I have heard, is the most efficient way of all to stop spam signups, because all the automated bots won't find you anymore. Anyway, so you see we've made this a little bit prettier than the WordPress one. We've added a few more fields. We allow you to choose your own password, for instance. Out of the box, WordPress registration doesn't allow that. It does with WordPress multi-site, but in any case, not with regular WordPress. We also ask for a name. Now, this is a brand new installation of Buddypress, so I don't have any profile fields. But if I had profile fields, they'd all show up here. Favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, then you'd have a drop-down box, etc. So this is built in. This is a themable page. When you go into a Buddypress theme, there's a folder called registration, and it has two files, register.php and activate.php, and they're both themable templates, just like any other template in Buddypress. So yeah, it all comes with it.
I didn't get a chance to look at the database, but is profile data, is it still stored in separate Buddypress tables, or is it in the WordPress user manager?
Good question. The question was, is profile data still stored in Buddypress or in standalone tables? The answer is yes. All of Buddypress data, most of it is stored in custom tables at the moment. And the reason for that just has to do with optimization. And it was built before custom post types were available. The next version, the big developer feature for the next version is that everything's getting moved into custom post types. Everything.
Sorry, everything's getting moved to what?
Custom post types. WordPress custom post types so that you'll be able to use the have post loop when you do theming. Now, the case of user meta is a little bit tricky because user meta is flat key value. Right. You don't really want that. What you want is you want the ability to have rich taxonomies. So we haven't actually talked about how it's going to be implemented yet, but I would imagine that your profile will be a custom post type, and each profile field will be a taxonomy. That's what I'm thinking, or at least the drop downs will be a taxonomy, and the ones that are just text will be a metadata field. That will make it, because think about all of like WP get terms, and think about the tax query. When you do a WP query, you can feed a text. Maybe you all have done that before, right? Not all of you, but the WordPress post query has all sorts of really sophisticated ways to get only the posts that you want. Give me everything that's tagged barbecue that is posted in the North Carolina category between these dates. And right now we can't do that. We use our own custom tables, but once we move it into the WordPress post database, then we'll be able to use that. I think that's how it'll work with profiles too. Great. So that's going to be a big job, but it's going to be awesome. More questions about Buddypress, about Buddypress 1.5, what I had for dinner tonight. Didn't have anything, so I gave that one away. Yeah.
If I install the beta, does it automatically let me know when there's an update, like from the codex, or no?
Yeah, so actually, let's install it because we haven't talked about that yet. So what I'll do, I'll just wipe my current database and we'll start from scratch. Reset BP and okay, I'm deleting Buddypress from my installation, or at least I'm uninstalling it. Okay, so let's go back over to the dashboard. Never mind these PHP notices, that's from a different plugin. Plugin section. You install Buddypress at the moment. If you want to use the distribution version of Buddypress, you install it just in the same way you install any other WordPress plugin by searching for it under Add New Plugins. You search for Buddypress and then you install it. Now, the beta you get from buddypress.org, and it's a zip download for now, but it will, of course, be available once we get the release version. If you install the beta today, it will look like this, Buddypress, and it'll say version 1.5 beta 2. Once we release 1.5, you will get an update notice, because that's understood as a later version. So I've installed Buddypress. You see it's activated. When you activate it, it says Buddypress was successfully installed. Please run the wizard. Here we go. We're off to see the wizard. Buddypress Set Up. Buddypress bundles several individual social components together, each one adding a distinct feature, blah, blah, blah. Now the idea here is that and one of the problems really with Buddypress is that it does so much, and people just turn it all on. One of the things that I recommend for people who are just starting to use Buddypress, or who are thinking about adding Buddypress to an existing site, is only add a piece, or add a few pieces, and only turn things on as your community gets used to the things that are already there. It can be a lot if you add it all at once. So, but let's add it all at once, because we're daredevils. Save and next. Now it takes me to the pages setup screen. It's going to say, if you have existing pages, and I have none because I just deleted them from my system, if you have existing pages, then you'll be able to select associating each one of these components with an existing page, or you just say, create one for me, and it'll create one automatically. Now remember, these are just pages, so if you don't like these URLs, you can always go back and you can change them in the regular WordPress page interface later on. Save and next. Permalinks. Now, you probably all did this the first thing when you set up your WordPress blog, so if you're using an existing site, you won't have to worry about this. But Buddypress requires what we call pretty permalinks. It requires, by default, you have boone.com, P equals 24328, right? Buddypress can't deal with that. It needs an htaccess file. It needs pretty permalinks. So you have to choose one of these. I'm going to choose the default. Theme. Now it gives you a couple of options what you can do with the theme. This is we thought this was a good user education piece because people would often turn on Buddypress, but they wouldn't activate a Buddypress compatible theme. They'd go to the front of their site and they'd say, "What the hell is going on? Where's all my Buddypress stuff?" So this tells you, look, you need to have something, and by default it says use the Buddypress theme. If you want, you can use a plugin called the Buddypress Template Pack plugin, which essentially does the very thing I was explaining earlier. It copies the theme files, the Buddypress specific templates out of Buddypress, and it copies them into your existing theme. This would walk you through the process if we did that. I'm going to go with the default theme for now because I don't want to do that. But for instance, you can, if you want something fun to do, you can go through that process with something like 2010. And you can be set up with Buddypress content in 5 minutes. It's really fast. It doesn't look great, but it's set up and it works. Okay, there we go. Buddypress setup is complete. Your site is ready to go. Zoom. There we go. So now it's taking me to the components page. This is the settings page. And here's my site. There it is. Now this is just a blog page. By default, is it by default or not? I think by default, the front page of the site, you'll see boone.cool/Yolanda. All of my installations are named after women's names. And this is Yolanda. Nice to meet her, right? Yeah. This is a regular blog page. So this is just like the front page of your WordPress blog. But Buddypress, because we're using WordPress pages, we're able to set the front page to be whatever we want it to. I don't know how many of you know about this setting, but this is built into WordPress. When you go to Reading, under Settings, you can select for the front page to display your latest posts or a different page. You can select any of these existing pages. This is something that comes along with the fact that we're now using no phantom pages, but real pages. Let's say I want to show my activity on the front page. Save changes, and go to my main page, and here it is. Here's my activity. There is no activity yet because I haven't done anything, but so that's pretty slick. You can change the front page of your site however you'd like. All of these things are built in. I can go create new groups, so on and so forth. I'll walk you through the process of creating a group so you can see it if you haven't before. Boone is a nice guy. Create group and continue. Enable discussion forum. So yeah, I'll enable discussion forum. That's built in. You'd have to go through one additional setup step when you install Buddypress on the back end. You just click a button and it installs the forum tables for you. Now here are the 3 privacy options we talked about before. This is built in from Buddypress 1.2. This is something new that I wanted, so I put it in. Group invitations. Which members of this group are allowed to invite others? You can limit this if you'd like. If you only want to allow admins of the group to invite other people to the group, you can set it up that way. I'm going to leave it at all members. Next step. Oops. That's because I did all my magic to install this. Sorry. But you're going to get to see how you install the forums. This happens because I manually uninstalled Buddypress, like in the database. I dug in there instead of actually doing it the correct way, so this will never happen to you. So I'm going to go to Forums Setup, and it thinks I've already installed. So all you do is you click Install, set up a new BBPress installation, and that's it. That's all it takes. Next step. Now I can upload an avatar for the group. Why don't I upload something awesome? How about Boone Ghostbusters? That sounds promising. Oh, I was dressed up as a Ghostbuster. This is awesome. I was like 8. Cool. Okay, so I can crop that image. Next step. Invites. Now, I'm the only member on this installation, so there's nobody to invite. But if you, I don't have any friends. But if you did have friends, they would be here. You'd be able to invite them. You can do this later after you've created the group, of course.